Good morning. Happy Sunday to anybody out there. And I hope your weekend has been amazing. Mine has been very fruitful. And today I want to talk to you about how we make healthy habits stick. It's not always easy when we want to start a new habit, right? I've talked about this before. I've talked about this a few times about how our neural pathways, we have to build new neural pathways for new habits um, so that it becomes a habit and our body knows what to do. But here's the tricky thing is when we're enforcing that habit, it's so easy to forget when you're starting something new. And this came, I figured this out because I've been doing a challenge this last week or two, which I'm filming, and I will bring to you once I'm finished the challenge. But because it was a new habit that I needed to enforce for myself, the first couple of days I literally forgot. So how I figured out to attach it is we've heard from other people that we attach it to another habit that you already do. So I decided to attach this exercise. It's an exercise that I'm doing every day for 30 days to see if it changes the fat pads around my calf muscles, the fronts of my knees and the backs of my knees, because I've read and been told that it does. So I decided to attach that habit of doing those exercises in the shower because I take 2 showers a day. So but funnily enough, the first few times that I had a shower after I was starting the challenge, I still forgot. So I needed to like write it on the wall or something like that in the bathroom. But fast forward, I'm probably halfway through the challenge. And today I actually have had 2 showers already this morning because my husband and I woke up to a barking dog at like 1:30 in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep. So we got up. So I had a shower then, and then I had another shower about an hour ago, and it stuck. Even though I only need to do this exercise in 50 in the morning and 50 at night in the shower, I've actually done both lots, so 100 already with those 2 showers. So I've attached that exercise, that new healthy habit, to actually being in the shower. So I suspect from here on in, whenever I take a shower, I'll be doing that exercise because I've already seen benefits. I haven't measured myself and things like that, but I've already seen benefits of how it's helped me. So now that I've attached that habit, and it only takes a minute or so in the shower to do this, I have formed that habit. And that habit will stick with me because I've attached it to another habit rather than a locational habit. So if I was to start doing some kind of exercise outside on the veranda, if I'm in a hotel or we're on holidays or we're down in Perth or things like that, then I won't continue that habit because that habit's based on the location that I started it in. Whereas if I start some kind of habit in the shower, well, I'm going to take a shower no matter where I am, right? So it enforces that, and then it's just a trigger that, oh, you just do that every time you get in the shower. So this is how we make healthy habits stick. So I wrote down a few examples so I wouldn't forget. So supplements. How many people forget to take their supplements? I know I do. That's one of these things. So how about, do you always make a cup of tea first thing in the morning? Do you all, what do you do? Do you always do something at lunchtime with your food that you can pin that habit to? What else have we got? Drinking more water. Can you drink a glass of water every time you go to make a meal? So, that's 3 extra glasses of water every time you make a meal. What else have I got here? And I did write down rebounding while you're watching the TV, but then I crossed it out because then that's dependent on me always being somewhere that I have a rebounder. Okay. And I've actually solved my rebounder. So that's not an exercise that I could form a healthy habit over. So I've got to find some other kind of habit that, say, you watch the news every night. Can you lay on the floor and do the old-fashioned isometric exercises, the leg lifts and the cycling in the air, which is really great for the lymphatics, that kind of thing. So if you always watch the news, no matter where you are, if you're on holidays or whatever, then that's a habit you can attach something to. So see where I'm going with this? It's about your personal habits that you do, no matter where you are, and no matter whether you're working, holidaying, visiting, doesn't matter, right? So I always have 2 showers, one in the morning, one at night. Some people don't. I always brush my teeth twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. So what do you always do? Now, one of the other things that I've made that you could make a healthy habit is, like your breakfast. Can you have just scrambled eggs for breakfast? If you're looking for a high protein breakfast and to get yourself away from carbs and things like that, scrambled eggs you can get at any hotel, at any restaurant, at any cafe. You know what I mean? If you get in your head that, okay, that's just my habit. I have breakfast every morning. I have eggs every morning. And that's something that is easy for you to continue, because everywhere you go, you can get scrambled eggs pretty much. All right. So can you, if you're always running late in the morning and you want to develop the habit of a healthier breakfast, could you make extra the night before and have that for breakfast first thing in the morning? Can you do a cook up every Sunday when you're doing I don't know when you clean your house, but we tend to on Sundays, wash the sheets, mop the floors, that kind of thing. So can you throw in some meat in the slow cooker and some jerky in the dehydrator, and like Sunday's just a cook up day, so that your fridge is always full of meals that is easy for you to grab and healthy for you? Okay, so these are just some of the little things that I wrote down as examples. And I'd love to hear if you've got an example of a strange habit that you just do now that seemed strange in the beginning and may seem strange to others. That would be awesome, because, I think the more that we attach these habits to other things, the further they go, and then they just become ingrained in our lifestyle. I also use anchors. Now, I was talking to somebody else about this the other day, and they'd never heard of doing this before, and I'm not sure where I learned it from, somewhere online years ago. And if you're, for example, you want to, let's say drink water. You want to instill the habit of drinking more water, which I'm terrible at. I'm just here to say that's just something I've never conquered. My husband's the complete opposite, drinks tons of water, puts me to shame, and I just can't nail it. I don't know what. Anyway, I'll get there on that one. But if you wake up and beside your bed is already a thermos of water or something like that, and everywhere you go there's a thermos of water, that's like an anchor to remind you of what your goal is. Sometimes it is as simple as drinking a certain amount at a certain time for you. And I remember not long after I had my weight loss surgery, in the beginning, because I had to really try extra hard to even get small amounts of water in, I would drink, how much? I think I would drink a liter of water before I even started eating for the day, so that I knew I had that water done. So that was a starting point for me. But if you're not like that, if you're not in that situation where you have to kind of sacrifice food for liquid, which I did have to at the time, then anchoring things around the house and having drink bottles and thermoses everywhere you go in the house to remind you to take 3 more sips or whatever is a healthy way of instilling that habit for yourself. As I said, I haven't nailed, and it's not to say that you will nail it just by doing that. There are some things that I nail really easily by attaching to other habits, and there's some things that still elude me because I'm human, and that's okay. I drink enough during the day, but yeah, that will be one of my challenges moving forward. When I finish the current challenge, maybe it should be, getting my water in. We'll see. But if you know how to get your water in, what's your habit? How do you get that done? Because generally, people who have these sorts of things in place have a habit around it of how they do it. Okay, so I would love to hear yours. So that's all I wanted to chat to you today about, and keeping it simple. So, habits, things that we do all the time that we keep up, are generally simple. They're not too taxing on the brain, they don't take up too much extra time. So, like the exercise that I'm doing in the shower right now takes me less than a minute, and it's just not hard. It's just remembering to do it. And now I proved to myself this morning, having a second shower, simply because it's freezing here and I was so cold and I needed to have another shower before I got moving. I found myself doing the exercise again, even though the number that I'm striving for, I only need to do it morning and night. So now I've done it 2 in the morning, and I suspect tonight when I get in the shower, I will do it again. So it was just this moment of, oh, I've developed a habit. It took a couple of weeks to develop that habit, but now I know, oh, okay, this is going to be a habit for me whenever I get in the shower. So simple habits, successful habits are things that you attach to something else. Is there something you can do when you brush your teeth every day? Is there something you can do when you're waiting for the kettle to boil? How many of us stand there in front of the kettle just staring at it? Can you do an exercise? Can you take your supplements while you're waiting for that kettle to boil? Can you, there's so many things that we could be doing at the same time. We are master multitaskers, most of us. We just don't multitask in a way that is often puts the health back into our lifestyle. And I think I want to get across to most people that the best things in life are the simple things, is to keep things very simple. Don't overthink the food, don't overthink the exercise, don't, just keep it simple and things that you can do, to look at the likes of lipedema, inflammation, keep the inflammation low, keep the hormones steady, is the main things that we need to do, right? So doing that is the simple things. It's cooking from scratch, it's cooking whole foods, it's getting into the habit of chopping up a bunch of veggies and putting them into containers so that when you get home at night and you're tired from work and all that sort of thing, you just have to open a container and throw it into your fry pan and stir fry. No seed oil, speaking of that. So and you know what? Going without seed oils and cooking with butter and lard and bacon fat and duck fat it's a habit. And it took me a while to get used to that because we're so ingrained, pouring it on, it's easy, as opposed to getting a thing that's hardened out of the fridge. And it's funny how ingrained we get in this simple pouring thing. And what I did notice when I changed that habit to duck fat, lard, that kind of thing, we usually cook out on the veranda. We don't have a barbecue, but it's a big electric fry pan. And the table that we used to cook it on, when we used the oil, that table became so sticky. You couldn't get the stickiness off anymore. I had to scrape it off, and it was ruined basically. When I swapped to cooking with lard and butter and those kinds of things, it doesn't stick. It doesn't make the surroundings sticky. So if you want to compare that to the insides of your body, I mean, to me, it was night and day. It was like, oh, the lard, the animal fats just wipe right off with hot water. The seed oils did not. It stuck there. It stayed sticky. So if that's what it's doing inside my body, and why wouldn't it if that's what it does outside? So again, I had to get used to that habit by having it all ready to go in the fridge, easy to spoon out. And then eventually I got to a point that it was like, oh no, I just reached for that. I didn't need to reach for the oil anymore. So any of these habits that are going to improve our health, they need to be simple. So if it's not simple for you, pick something else to start with, pick something else to work on, and just keep cycling through them until you find a way to connect one to another one until it becomes just part of your life. All right. This isn't something you're going to nail immediately with some things, and that's okay. You pick something else, move on, cycle back around to that eventually, like the water. I've got no doubt that when I'm living in a hotter climate, I am going to work out how to drink that water. Okay. It'll just have to be, instilled in me in some way, shape, or form. So that's it for me today. Happy Sunday again. Go and find a habit this week that you can do easily. Report back. Tell me what you've done. Tell me what habits you have attached to your life already that works for you, because I'm always looking for new ways to incorporate new healthy habits. And I will see you all next Sunday. Bye.